My amp unit, this is a bonus video on this Tuesday afternoon. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out after this video, the Monday Night Raw review. I put up nearly a full hour in that review, guys. We go over everything from top to bottom, start to finish, beginning to end for Monday Night Raw last night. The ups, downs, and the all-arounds. My true feelings on Raw, go check that video out after this video. I'll put the link on the fucking last 20 seconds of this video, I promise. So this video, I had to talk about this now. There is no way that I could wait, not just to the podcast this weekend. I didn't even want to wait till tomorrow or Thursday to put this out. I had to talk about Matt Riddle, NXT superstar Matt Riddle, and Goldberg, the feud that they have. Because it escalated once again, and this is without really Goldberg doing anything or saying anything, and somehow it escalated. It evolved even further. And it seems to always evolve and go further when other people stick their nose into it. Like Booker T, or Lance Storm, or the newest person to have something to say about Matt Riddle is Chris Jericho. So now we're forgetting the WWE line. We're crossing that, and now we're going over to AEW territory. So you have this NXT up-and-coming superstar, because Matt Riddle is, whether you like him or not. And I know there's a lot of people on both sides of the fence. The guy's an up-and-coming superstar. He will be on that main roster collecting titles sooner rather than later, I bet. So you have a guy right now, an NXT star, that is now in a little bit of a social media war with Chris Jericho. How far they take it is up to them. I know as a fan, it is one hell of a funny war at this point. If it crosses the boundary, if it crosses the line, we'll see. Jericho will be one to tell you such, or Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle actually did have some harsh, straightforward comments to Chris Jericho. I'm going to go over those actually, and that's, one could look at it as that's crossing the boundary of just fun. Now you're like basically threatening the dude. But we'll go over it and you can make your own assumption. But again, this all stemmed from Riddle and Goldberg, guys. Before Matt Riddle was even an NXT superstar, he would always talk trash to Goldberg. So Goldberg blocked Matt Riddle on social media. And again, this was before he was even an NXT star. Goldberg blocked him. So you see that the war was there before Matt Riddle even really got this concept of pro wrestling. Matt Riddle just had a thing against Goldberg, and Goldberg's like, I ain't even fucking dealing with you, fan. And that was that. And then all of a sudden, Matt Riddle's in NXT, and all of a sudden, he's gaining momentum and gaining steam, and he's a legit part of WWE now. And him and Goldberg still just don't see eye to eye. So, especially Super Showdown, when Goldberg had that ultimately horrible match with Undertaker, Matt Riddle really let Goldberg have it, man. And he went as far as to say Goldberg just can't wrestle. He's putting other competitors' lives in danger. I mean, he pulled no punches back, man. He just started going full throttle on Goldberg. Again, Goldberg never responded. He tried to take the high road, or maybe he knows that, at least social media-wise, he can't hang with somebody like Matt Riddle, you know? Maybe Goldberg just wants to meet him one-on-one in a parking lot, or maybe Goldberg knows about Matt Riddle's background and doesn't want to meet Matt Riddle in a parking lot. Who knows? But Goldberg, for some reason, maybe I doubt it's just the fact that he's over-the-top professional, because I've seen Goldberg take some low blows and low jabs. So there's got to be a reason he wants no part of Matt Riddle. But other people, legends or former past pro wrestlers, especially more specifically WWE, they did stick their nose into this Matt Riddle and Goldberg little war. And it started with Lance Storm. Because after Matt Riddle left some of those Super Showdown posts that Goldberg can't wrestle and he shouldn't have been in the ring and good job knocking yourself out before the bell even rings, you're putting lives at stake, all of that stuff, Lance Storm responded to one of those posts saying, and I quote, again, this is Lance Storm, I considered myself a professional wrestler. And that first part, meaning professional, wasn't just because I got paid. It's how I tried to conduct myself. So Lance Storm was basically trying to he was telling Matt Riddle, kid, learn how to conduct yourself. Learn how to go about your business and not go about it like a fucking 10-year-old. That's basically what Lance Storm was telling Matt Riddle. And again, it's not basically, he was telling Matt Riddle this. Of course, Matt Riddle didn't let up. He still talked a bunch of trash to Bill Goldberg, and this brought in Booker T. On Booker T's podcast, Booker T had this to say, and I quote, again, this is Booker T. I got a chance to watch Matt Riddle work. This guy needs a lot of work. You talk about somebody that needs to work on their craft. This Matt Riddle needs to work on his craft, and that's coming from me, Booker T. I wish Matt Riddle would come down to my school and get a first-class Wrestling 101 training. Before Matt Riddle starts talking about anybody, Matt Riddle needs to work on his game and work on it very hard, and that's coming from a Hall of Famer. That's coming from one of the best in this business. End quote by Booker T. So Booker T was real pissed that Matt Riddle keeps on hammering on Goldberg. Protective almost of Goldberg in what he endured in there with Undertaker at Super Showdown. So, finally, we get to Chris Jericho now. All right? That pretty much ended it for a little bit. Those Booker T comments were from a few weeks ago. So that pretty much ended it from there. Not too much hammering on Goldberg. Every now and again, of course. Matt Riddle just has fun hammering down on Goldberg. But now Chris Jericho comes into play. And this is all just from a fan. A fan kind of tweets over to Chris Jericho a part in Jericho's book where Jericho realized that basically burying the performers that he was going against just because they're old or slow is not going to progress or elevate that feud. It's just going to digress and dilute it. So basically, Jericho said in his book that when you're taking on somebody that's older or slower, it's not good to just hammer home those points because it's not going to do anything for your feud. It's not going to do anything for your opponent or yourself. So this fan basically tweeted that over to Jericho and basically said it kind of reminds that fan of Matt Riddle, and maybe he could use some of that advice. So Chris Jericho retweeted it with the caption, "Listen and learn, kid." That was it. Listen and learn, kid. And you know Matt Riddle is not going to take too kindly to that. And he didn't. Matt Riddle responded via a video of himself with a big shit-eating grin on his face. Almost Looney Tunes status, man, like a real dork. But only something that Matt Riddle can pull off. Or so I thought. Jericho would pull it off in a little bit. I'll talk about it in a second. But he just had a little video of him just pretty much smirking in the smuggest, most possible way. And he actually left a caption on it as well. This is what Matt Riddle said in response to Jericho. "What's wrong with these WCW guys? First Goldberg, then Booker T, and now a really boring wrestler who hates barefoot bros, Lance Storm. And last but not least, Y2J. It's almost like you all want to get beat up before you retire. Listen and learn, bros." So he mentioned Booker T in there, Lance Storm, and Goldberg, but it was really intended for Jericho. Jericho really irked him. He really didn't even hit hard on Lance Storm before that, or Booker T. But for some reason, Jericho hit home, and he felt the need to respond again with the video of him kind of in that smug smirk, and then, as I just quoted, kind of hitting Booker T, Lance Storm, Goldberg, and Jericho all in one paragraph. He didn't stop there. This seemed like it really kind of just pissed him off. So then he went on a really long video rampage verbally. This is what he said, and I quote, "My point of view, watch, listen, enjoy, bros. I'm just going to say this." This is Matt Riddle. And now listen to these words, guys. Matt Riddle hits Lance Storm, Booker T, Goldberg, and Chris Jericho. He hits them even harder in this essay of a video. "I'm just going to say this. I don't know what's going on with all of these WCW guys. Legitimately, I don't like Goldberg. I had my thing. I'm not going to get into it. Everybody knows what I think, and it's true. He's not at the level. Yes, he's made lots of money, but at the end of the day, when future wrestlers come in, or somebody wants to get into this business, or a passionate fan wants to watch something good, I doubt they're going to pull up a Bill Goldberg match. They're going to pull up one of my matches, or Kurt Angle's, or Chris Benoit's, or Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart's, and I'll go on. But Goldberg's not in the category or less. Jericho, you came at me. I don't know what you're saying, listen and learn, kid. I'll beat the shit out of you. I don't understand that. I don't get it. You're soft as hell, Jericho. Maybe back in your prime, you could pose a threat. But even then, I would have beat the shit out of you. So listen and learn from me, bro. Shut your mouth. Hard words for Chris Jericho. He probably got it the worst. Lance Storm. I don't get it. You were boring then. I remember doing a seminar with you at Legends Camp in North Carolina. I literally fell asleep during your seminar. I had to be woken up by you. I even apologized at the time. And then to think years later I'd be in NXT, and then for some reason you get on your little Twitter machine and you start talking trash about me. Say barefoot or not, I'm still 10 times the entertainer you ever were. Keep coaching. Keep passing on the tradition. Just don't teach them how to be entertaining because you don't know how to. And Booker T. I honestly really like you, Booker T. I didn't want any heat with you. But you said I couldn't work, and I'm pretty sure if you watch a couple of my matches, you'll probably realize you were really wrong about that. So that's it. I want everyone to know where I'm coming from because I'm a pretty sweet guy. And I don't want any of this trouble, okay? Alright? Everybody have a great Monday. I'll see everybody in Albany, New York Thursday, Buffalo Friday, and take over Toronto on Saturday. Later, bro. End quote. So much to go over there, guys. Again, he hits Goldberg again, just talking about his history with Goldberg. Nothing new. He just basically said, listen, there's real beef. That's real. It's not a storyline shoot. This is a real shoot. And I don't want to get into it anymore. I'm done with it. He goes on to Jericho and he hits him hard and says, listen and learn, kid. I don't get it. I'll beat the shit out of you. And he says, maybe back in your day you'd pose a threat, but back in your prime, even then I'd beat the shit out of you. And he says, you listen and learn and shut your mouth, bro. Again, these are shoots, guys. There's no way this is a storyline. This is a fucking social media shoot on it. And it would be interesting to see these. Jericho has never backed down from a fight. Jericho has had backstage fights with Brock Lesnar, shoot, real life, and Goldberg. You think Jericho gives a shit how tough you are or what kind of training you have? And Matt Riddle, we know, doesn't give a shit because he actually has training and he's ballsy as fuck. These two ever meet in a locker room anywhere or just in a fucking Starbucks, it could be on, man. They're grown adults, they're professionals, but when you get two dudes that have a lot of ego and self-respect and pride, you're gonna get two dudes wanting to beat the shit out of one another. And then he goes into Lance Storm and he just says, you were boring then, you're boring now. You can keep training today's athletes and superstars, but don't teach them how to be entertaining because you wouldn't know a thing about it. And he says he fell asleep in one of Lance Storm's seminars. Storm had to wake him up and he had to apologize to Storm because he was so boring. And then Booker T, he legit says, I didn't want any beef with you, but you say I can't wrestle. I want you to watch some of my wrestlers. I want you to watch some of my wrestling matches and you'll see you'll be damn wrong about that. So he didn't come at Booker T too hard. So there is a level of respect he doesn't want to touch. And I think there's a level of respect with Jericho too. And that's where all this is stemming from. Where Jericho kind of came at him and said, listen and learn, kid. And I think that really irked Matt Riddle. Because I think Jericho is most likely somebody Matt Riddle looked up to. I mean, if you're a fan in this business and you're coming into that company or pro wrestling as in general, and you've been watching pro wrestling the last 15 plus years, chances are Chris Jericho is one of your fucking role models to look up to. But, and that's what I mean. At the start of this video, I said it's kind of fun for us fans because what made it more fun? Let me just tell you how Chris Jericho responded, all right? Chris Jericho responded to that long-winded video message he did the same thing. Remember I told you guys that Matt Riddle kind of did a video where he just had this smug smirk. Jericho did the same video. He tried to even dress like Riddle. He even had like a bandana on his head, and he comes in the frame just like Riddle did, and he tried to give the same smug smirk, but he tried to make it even more funnier. His eyes were like cross-faced. He was doing an extra, what do you call it, the duck face? He was doing that on the extra. It was hilarious, man. Jericho gets the tweet of the year already, and I know it's only August, but that's definitely the tweet of the year in response to Riddle. And that's why I say it's funny for us fans, man, because, you know, Jericho's making it funny. For the longest time, a lot of Riddle's tweets over to Goldberg were actually funny too, you know? But now it kind of got to a point where Riddle's kind of like pissed off at Jericho, man. He said several times, I'll beat the shit out of you. Jericho's not a guy to fuck with, though. He is ballsy as fuck. He has fought Brock Lesnar backstage. He has fought Goldberg backstage. He has fought many people. I'm just giving you some of the beasts. And he's responding. He's trying to be respectful to Booker T, but he did respond. Now, all it takes is Booker T to take this to the next level, and Matt Riddle may take it to the next level. And Matt Riddle might be. It might be that Matt Riddle is causing a lot of problems for himself, you know? And so he does have to be careful. It's fun to a point. For the fans, it's definitely fun. For the wrestlers, it's fun to a point until you start making problems and trouble for yourself. You don't want to do that. You're still a young buck in the NXT program. Sooner rather than later, I see this guy getting up to the main roster and doing awesome things, bro. But you have to make it there. You don't want to be such a clown that they get rid of you. I mean, Big Cass was a clown. Different reasons, don't get me wrong. He was drinking a lot and just being a schmuck. But if you see this kind of dipshittery continue on, Vince might have no choice. If you have somebody like Booker T coming to you, and then who knows down the road, maybe another couple superstars that are highly respected, and they're saying this kid is disrespectful and he just doesn't get it. Just saying, man, you know, keep it in the social media boundaries that Vince allows you guys to do, and gals, and have fun with it and escalate feuds and even cause a little bit of drama. It's all good. Just don't ruin it for you, because it took me a while to warm up to Matt Riddle. I finally did. I don't want to see the guy lose his job already, you know what I mean? I'm finally starting to warm up to him. He actually is a good wrestler, guys. Coming from mixed martial arts background, dude's got some chutzpah in that ring. He's got the charisma too. And he's a fighter, naturally. So he's always going to protect himself via social media or in your face. So it's going to be interesting to see if if this escalates any further. If Jericho takes it another notch, or Riddle doesn't look like he leaves anything behind. Riddle, every now and again, will always resurface some drama, so I expect Riddle to do even more in the future to either Jericho, Goldberg, Storm, or all of the above. I don't know about Booker T again, but we'll see, man. I had to talk about this now, man, because I'm calling it was kind of funny at first, but just thinking about it, I'm calling it the feud of the year. Jericho and Matt Riddle would be an amazing fucking match. Because I also know there'll be a lot of shoot in it. There'll be a lot of realism in that match. They'll be trading off some real fucking blows. Jericho will be trying to teach him respect, and Riddle will try to be teaching Jericho who today's wrestler is and what it's all about. Your time is done. I'm gonna teach you now what I can do. And they'll be trading off blows, man. Each chop will be more vicious than the one before. Every kick would be hurting more than the one before. Every clothesline will be fucking more devastating than the one before. I would love to see it. Maybe one day we'll get to see it, man. But AEW has Jericho for the next several years. And it looks like Matt Riddle has a promising future in WWE for the next few years. So I don't see that ever actually happening. But at least online, we could have the feud of the year, man, if this keeps escalating. But I did want to send you guys that story. You guys can research this yourself and actually see the quotes. There's videos, again, that you can actually hear Matt Riddle speaking all of this. You can see Chris Jericho's response in his video, trying to match Matt Riddle. He tried to literally copy him, and it was hysterical, guys. You guys will love it. Again, tweet of the year, no doubt. And what I call the feud of the year, Matt Riddle and Chris Jericho, man. And again, as of right now, Tuesday afternoon, August 6th, 2019, I haven't heard any more from this feud. That was the last thing I saw was Chris Jericho's response. And by the way, with that duckface video, I did want to say, guys, he actually did leave a caption. Minor league wannabe bros are funny. This was Jericho in that video where he tried to copy the duckface smug look of Riddle. He put minor league wannabe bros are funny. Hashtag super king of schmoes. So he did hit Riddle back. He did leave it open for Riddle for a rebuttal, a response to Jericho. So this could escalate over the next 24 hours especially. That's all I got for you guys. A little bit of a fun video because I know that hour-long Raw review covered everything. I got a little amplified. I got a little heated, a little angered. Told you what I did like too. There were some things I did like on Raw as well. But this video, a little bit more fun. Unless and until it gets very serious. Let's hope it doesn't actually get to that point. You know, you want everyone to just, can't we all just get along? Or they meet at Starbucks and maybe that'll be posted online. Who the fuck knows? Amplified man, guys. I hope you enjoyed the double video. Again, as I promised, right about now, you'll see the Raw review video in one of these corners. Click on that if you didn't catch that video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the SmackDown Live review and reaction vid. It's the go-home show to SummerSlam, the very last show. Hopefully they do it the right way. The Amplified man. Ow! Check you later.